All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Ilan Sobel. He's the CEO of BioHarvest Sciences. And Ilan, welcome back. Good to see you again.
Steve, as always, it's wonderful to see you, especially on a majorly historical day like today.
Yeah, really interesting news release out today. You and I've talked about what you wanted to do as far as cannabis is concerned and growing it. And we'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes about what you're able to produce right now. But the key here is that you feel that you've really made a breakthrough as far as the cannabis industry is concerned. So tell me what the news of the day is, Ilan.
Well, Steve, today's news is a historic scientific milestone of great proportions. It's a scientific milestone, not just for the cannabis industry, but frankly for the plant tissue culture industry, and I would say even broadly for the biotech industry. We have now set a clear path and demonstrate the ability to change the industry forever. And it's interesting, 3 years ago when we embarked on this audacious challenge, there were many top scientists, top professors out there that said it's impossible. And when you tell BioHarvest scientists that something's impossible, you know that you have set a challenge that is going to be conquered. And I can't tell you, it's quite emotional for me today. I'm such a proud leader of this company after seeing the commitment, the determination, the building of knowledge from 10 years. People need to understand, we've been doing this now for more than 10 years with products like Vinia, our red grape cell product, with our olive cell and pomegranate cell innovations that will be coming to the market, and leveraging those learnings to be able to take to the most challenging plant out there in the plant kingdom, and being able to figure out how to grow significant biomass now. We have meaningful quantities of full spectrum, non-GMO cannabis biomass. It's a major, major day for the history at large, industry at large.
So throw it into layman's terms, you're in essence have been able to grow cannabis without actually growing a plant, which is significant. Now, what does this cannabis look like? Is it very similar to what people would see, if they were at some sort of a farm or something?
It's unique, to say the least, because of our platform technology. And frankly, it's a spectacle to the eye, because when we grow our cannabis biomass in our proprietary bioreactors, we're actually growing pretty much just the trichomes. And as many of our, the people out there may realize, the trichomes are the critical mini factories that actually produce those so important cannabinoids and actually stores the cannabinoids. So the trichome is the most critical part of the plant. And we have figured out a way, literally without using the plant, or using the plant just once in the beginning of the process, to ensure that each of our cells are able to grow trichomes. So in fact, we did some recent measurements, and this is what we communicated in the press release, is that we're actually growing trichomes with a level of density of up to 200 times greater on a per millimeter square of area versus the actual plant itself. And when you actually break it down into a more simpler number, when it comes to our biomass, 93% of our biomass is trichomes. This is a game changer for the industry.
Okay. Tell me a bit about some of the industry challenges that this type of product would be solving.
Look, we're really fortunate. Life is about timing. The industry today is plagued with many, what I would call headwinds, many challenges. The biggest challenges that we're really solving today comes down to three critical areas, and they are major pain points for every player in the industry. The first area is around product variability. If you're a medicinal cannabis user, you need to have consistency of product. And because of the way we grow with cells, and we're able to control the process, we're able to get that fingerprint consistency. And that's so important for somebody that's suffering every single day and needs that medicinal cannabis to be able to help them deal with the specific indication that they're dealing with. So one is we deliver that fingerprint consistency. The second major challenge that the industry is facing is around product contamination. The amount of cannabis that is thrown away, the amount of cannabis that doesn't pass testing requirements is significant. Mm-hmm. As a result of our process, we are growing farmer-grade cannabis. Our cannabis is grown in an aseptic environment when we are growing it in the bioreactors. So we're able to, literally there's no pesticides, there's no fertilizer, because as you said before, we don't grow the plant. Mm-hmm. There's no solvents. Literally there's no residue, there's no pesticide residues. And that's a major challenge for the industry right now. Because those residues go very quickly into the bloodstream. We don't have any of those issues. We have no heavy metal issues because we have just a unique level of purity, which allows us to take our cannabis also into the pharma space, which is going to be really exciting. And then lastly, and very importantly, and something that's very close to the values of our company, is around the world that we live in and sustainability. Today, the challenges around sustainability are critical as it relates to cannabis grown regularly through regular agricultural means, as well as cannabis grown indoors, the amount of electricity, the amount of energy. On our side, we're utilizing a fraction of the land compared to what the industry utilizes. Even when you compare it to indoor, indoor, we're literally using 90% less than what our indoor cultivators are utilizing. We are utilizing a fraction of the energy. We literally, in our growing process, we have 0 level 1 greenhouse gas emissions, which is crazy. It's amazing. And it's really part of the foundation core of our platform technology. And then importantly, when it comes to water utilization, all of our water is biodegradable. Why? Because we don't have any pesticides. There's no fertilizer. There's no solvents. So all the water can be reused. So this is how disruptive this technology is. And now it's real. We have grown considerable biomass, and people out there can start to really understand the ability to fundamentally change the industry and bring significant value to an industry in areas that currently companies are not serving and providing value.
So Elan, who would want this? Like who's your target market for this?
So look, it's a big industry and there's place for everybody. But we're really focused, Steve, on unlocking a set of new use cases for the industry. So firstly, pharma. If you think about pharma companies, there are unfortunately, many indications, illnesses today that the synthetic world cannot solve. Pharma companies today are starting to go back to the plant, back where they were, 70, 80, 100 years ago, where literally drugs were all botanical drugs. And they're realizing now the power of the plant. We bring a solution from the cannabis plant to be able to provide consistent, fingerprint consistent and aseptic clean ingredients in order for them to be able to formulate the next generation of botanical drugs utilizing cannabis. This is a game changer and is going to foster a significant amount of research in the pharma world, because we're bringing them a very unique solution to be able to address big market opportunities. Okay. The second area is on the medicinal side, providing that, again, consistent and clean solution for medicinal cannabis out there is going to be a big focus. And then thirdly is in the CBD, hemp-based CBD supply chain. Today, you have many food and beverage companies, major, titans of industry, giants of industry out there who have been unwilling to lean into utilizing cannabis as a critical ingredient, despite the significant consumer demand. Why? Because there's been a total lack of consistency and cleanliness around the product itself. Now with BioHarvest, with our platform technology, we're able to bring a fingerprint consistent and clean ingredient that they can put through their supply chain. And I understand this from my 18 years, working in companies like Coke, how important that consistency and cleanliness is from a supply chain perspective. So these are 3 use cases that we will focus on. They are complementary to other use cases that other companies in the cannabis industry are focusing on. There's enough space for all of us, but these are significant value drivers for the industry and for us as a company. And most importantly, as we always go back to this, the values of our company, which is all about driving, incremental human utility value, being able to drive a significant change in consumers' overall health and wellness.
Okay. Last question. What's next? And I mean that by, do you produce first and then sell, or do you sell people on it and then produce? How does it work?
Look, we live in a concurrent world, right? Alt tab, we do it all the time on our computers. So literally for us right now, we're now at that stage where very shortly we'll start to move to the next stage, which is the literally large industrial scale bioreactors. We know how to do this. We've done this, across our existing portfolio. So this is something that we're going to be focusing on shortly. And concurrently, we're at the stage now because we are producing, meaningful quantities of biomass from our current bioreactors that I can, start to get out there in the industry and start to have the right quality, meaningful dialogues with key strategic partners that have congruent value systems to what we have as a company. And that's something that I will start to do commencing the first quarter of next year.
All right, we'll leave it there. Ilan, congratulations on this. Very exciting for you and the company. And thanks very much for spending the time with us.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, Ilan Sobel, the CEO of BioHarvest Sciences.